Save the planet from disaster, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Evan, joined as always by my co-hosts Lauren and Bruce, and today we are moving forward with Sonic the Comic, and we've got some climactic events today.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Among other things.
Yeah.
And, well, to start us off, I would say we start with some of the other things, although it is relevant, it's just not the big moment.
Yeah.
We're starting here with Enter the Cybernik, written by Lou Stringer and drawn by Roberto Corona. While Sonic is away, Robotnik kidnaps and converts many of the citizens of Emerald Hill into badniks. However, one rambunctious little squirrel may become his downfall.
Oh.
Dude.
Our main character of this story is Shorty, this guy here who is... I guess he just picks fights with anybody who says Robotnik is okay, which makes sense, but I want to know what level of self-delusion or brainwashing that guy's under.
Yeah, that's what I want to
mean?
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's either completely ignorant or thinks that'll somehow protect him.
Probably.
It's very strange, because, we've talked about how, Robotnik having a constituency of, aristocrats with a thing in Sonic Underground, and we've made allusions to it here. It's not very often, though. And it's not going to be a random citizen.
No.
Although we are going to see some more of that this episode, actually.
That's true, we will.
Indeed. But the Tweety Bird here gets his instant comeuppance because Robotnik arrives right now to start roboticizing.
What wonderful timing.
Dude.
Everybody gets kidnapped except for Shorty, who manages to get away. But he doesn't get away because he has a sense of righteous fury and stows away on the ship. But we're in the Badnik processing plant. We're seeing everybody get loaded inside. No horrifying mechanical tentacles to do it here in the factory, I guess.
No.
But Robotnik's here, Grima's here. They're working on whatever stuff.
The usual.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Shorty jumps out from... I'm not exactly sure where. I guess he just gets inside. He's in a vent.
He jumps out of a vent, yeah.
He jumps out on the Badnik production line and he breaks a computer by swatting a thing out of Grimer's hands. But then Robotnik's like, wow, that was easy. I kidnapped you with one hand.
He literally just grabs him. Sometimes Robotnik does that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, I guess it isn't.
It's actually a trooper that grabs him, but
You're
he
right,
take
it's a
credit for it.
trooper that grabs him.
Yeah.
It's basically the same as his hand. But, yeah, that's what happens when you're not Sonic. What else happens is he shows Shorty his new eternal fate, which is this experimental super badnik called the Cybernik, which no living occupant can be freed from.
Yeah, I guess you just become one with it.
He calls this new, but we've seen this sort of idea before.
We've seen this idea, but I'm guessing...
Not one that you can't get out of, though, as far as I know.
I guess, yeah,
True,
sure.
yeah.
But...
It also conveniently is perfectly squirrel-shaped.
I guess that's more what I was saying, and yeah, that's pretty coincidental. Maybe the whole reason he picked out Shorty is like, oh, I'm waiting for a squirrel. Okay, there's one.
Finally a squirrel!
Yeah. And, well, we waste no time. We shove him in there, and we start the sequence, and I love Grimer's line here. I love this job. It's fun being evil.
That is incredible.
His face also looks like he was photoshopped into handsome Squidward or something.
It is a little weird, but I like it. I like how he looks weird. He's a good match for Robotnik in that regard.
Yeah. And we're starting the sequence, trying to resist the brainwashing, but it seemingly doesn't work, and the sequence is finished. So Robotnik's like, let's test your powers, blow up the trooper that I had grab you before.
It's kind of implied that he didn't ask him to blow up the trooper,
actually. He just said demonstrate your powers, and Cybernik is like, aight.
Okay, he says shame to waste a trooper.
Yeah, but still impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, maybe this guy will be dangerous and hard to deal with, so he's sending him out on a mission to attack more of Emerald Hill Zone. Just this one zone is where everybody lives, so it's always the one that gets attacked.
Yeah, he seems to have a massive hard-on for taking out Emerald Hill. Actually, it makes sense why, because that's where Sonic lived.
Yeah, he just has a vendetta against Sonic.
Yeah, he just hates Sonic.
I guess if this is Sonic's hometown, I don't know if they ever said that, but something like that.
I feel like it was at least implied.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird, because all the other guys from the start, they're just kind of bumming around Emerald Hill out in the open, which
Maybe all their
is
homes were destroyed.
well, yeah, but like get underground or get behind something. They're sitting ducks and they're talking about how everybody else got captured, and it's because everybody else was also doing what you're doing, just hanging out in the open.
Yeah.
I will have to say, stepping back here a moment, as a whole, Sonic the Comic has not done a very good job at sort of showing the Robotnik ruled Mobius situation, because it seems like some people under his rule and some people are just around and he just harasses them. It's kind of confusing.
It is
Yeah,
a
that's
little
something
weird.
I'll
Yeah.
give Archie. They made very clear what Robotnik's rule was like.
Yeah, he had control over almost everything.
Right.
But in any case, Cybernik arrives with a Badnik brigade to take everybody captive. But aha, something destroys the Motobug and the buzzer, and it's him. He did it.
Those are two moto bugs.
I can't get over when the Motobugs
yeah.
are flying.
No, I was making a joke about how they call Buzz Bubbers moto bugs.
Right.
But you're
Yeah,
right,
but
there is
also-
a moto bug that's flying. You are also correct.
Yeah, we've been over this enough. But the point is, Cybernik actually did resist the mind control, so he has free will because he broke that computer earlier.
Yep.
Right.
So now he's a stone cold killer robot for life, but on the side of justice. All we needed was good RoboCop, you know?
I guess so. The way that Robotnik and Grimer react to this is amazing, because Grimer is like, it appears Cybernik has a free mind, Doctor. This presents us with quite a problem. Robotnik is like, it presents us with no problems, Grimer. I created them, and I can destroy them.
Yeah, setting out. He is the most triangle-headed he's ever been in this story, I might add.
He's
but
very triangle-headed.
setting out in a kind of frumpy-looking Eggmobile. It's a little weird looking, this one.
It is.
Well, the last one did get stolen, so he probably had to just throw one together.
Oh yeah, this is the
So-
Scrapmobile. So yeah, he sets out to destroy him as he's saving people, but we have a big fight, and Shorty manages to hold his own pretty decently. He blows off one of the thrusters on the Eggmobile and actually tears the backplate off. So cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the idea is that he definitely could overpower him, but Robotnik always plays dirty, of course.
Sure, yeah.
Yes, he has a remote of some sort that causes him to not be able to move or electrocutes him. It kind of looks like it does both at once.
It seems like it was some just like generic disable button that because he said he installed it on purpose in case something like this were to happen.
Yeah. Either way, it makes it so that he can't attack back, which means that we need a blue circle with arms to save us.
That drawing is so weird.
It's yeah, I don't know why they drew Sonic like that, but Sonic is here. He beats on Eggman way more, who tosses. I assume he's like accidentally dropping the remote. It sure looks like he's just intentionally throwing it to the left.
It does look that way.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really like I only just met Shorty, and so I'm not like invested in it. But it is also kind of lame to just have Sonic come in here at the last minute, save the day.
I mean, I'll admit I was kind of expecting that, but yeah, it's definitely still lame.
Yeah.
I think it's like you want to not draw the spotlight too much. I think if you establish that this guy was like even more powerful than Sonic, which I guess you could make a case for since it needed a disable remote to stop him, but
Sure.
I don't know. Either way, he picks up the remote and crushes it while Sonic is fighting Eggman. And, well, here's the thing. Eggman leaves, and that makes sense. But it's like, in every subsequent story, I'm gonna be left wondering, why doesn't he just make another remote?
Maybe it was... No.
Why doesn't he just rebuild any machine that they destroy? Seriously.
Eggman doesn't like to do the same thing twice, except
Yeah,
he
that's
totally
it.
does.
He's got to come up with a new way to foil the new Cybernik.
I know, but the
minion.
problem is he's gonna keep talking about wanting control over the Cybernik rather than just wanting to, like, destroy it, so...
Bad writing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in any case, yeah. Sonic sends Eggman packing and asks, hey, do you want to join our freedom fighter group? And then Shorty is like, I'm too much of a comic book guy with angst, and my revenge journey is personal. I have to take it
Oh,
alone.
fucking stupid.
Didn't think of him that way, but you're right. He's totally that way.
He is.
I'm a brooding
I think he's so
Shadow the
stupid.
Hedgehog.
Oh God, it is kind of
Oh
like
my gosh.
Shadow.
And now I will call myself Short Fuse the Cybernik. And then he asks, cool or what? And I'm gonna go with or what.
Or what? To be fair, we don't. His nickname was Shorty, so this could have been his actual given name already. Also,
Maybe. But,
wouldn't have made any sense.
Shorty didn't make much sense as a name.
No,
Seems
that
more like a nickname.
Shorty's definitely a nickname.
yeah. But, he flies off to occasionally appear in other stories later.
Woo!
Yay!
It's something. I don't know. It's like,
cool
didn't
idea
make...
for a character.
Yeah, it didn't make the most strong impression on me. I didn't hate it. He definitely makes a better robot than a Mobian.
Yeah.
Fair
No,
enough.
no, it's fine enough.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
just
nothing
not.
wrong, but
It's like I'll look forward to see what happens with this, I guess.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I think it's like he almost has a really cool design. I think they need to tweak his proportions a bit.
Yeah, I mean, if they got rid of the paunch a little bit,
Yeah.
it probably
Really,
look
in
a little
terms
better,
of in
but-
terms of cyborgs across licensed Sonic material, Bunny is really a flash in the pan for fitting as well into the Sonic style as she did.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda.
But yeah, decent story at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, we'll move on to The Big Con. Lou Stringer and Roberto Corona again. I think that was the same as the first one. In the chemical plant zone, Robotnik hosts a convention that's secretly a trap.
Oh no.
I don't know if that's, is that actually supposed to be a twist when I say it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean it's very obvious.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, it's a convention center that's shaped like his head, and you walk into the mouth. So it's like all of these people are here. What are they expecting? What do they know about Robotnik?
They're being forced to
Yeah,
come.
they're being forced to come.
No, yeah, it's obvious, and if it weren't for some other things later, which makes no sense, I would say that everyone probably knows this is going to end badly.
Yeah.
I guess
But-
the dude at the start is like, we're gonna get a reward for loyal service. So I don't know.
Yeah, some
Mm.
people just seem blindly loyal to Robotnik. It's very strange.
I don't get being loyal to him. He's shown his true colors plenty of times.
Well, so this is, it's like, you can either do we're all under threat of roboticization, or
Sure.
we all work for this guy because it's business or it's work, and him doing all of this is something that not everybody knows about. That's almost like a secret. You can't do both.
Yeah.
What this really seems like, at least when I look at it purely from the perspective of Robotnik, the way people react to it is maybe not very believable. But from his perspective, I think the idea is that he rules certain parts more directly. We've seen definitely
Yeah.
places that are enslaved where because he has to like build badniks and stuff, so he needs like a workforce. But the rest of the planet, it seems like he just kind of does whatever he feels like. No one can really stop him. So he's like, okay, let's round up some people and put on a convention. That could be fun, and I can see him doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's what he keeps the proles around for instead of just making them all bad nixes. I need someone to have my fun with by torturing them.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because it's a trap to turn everyone into badniks.
Well, that has to
Yeah.
always be the punchline for him.
yeah, I mean,
He's not very comedic. He could work on his humor a little bit. Well, I mean, he has a lot of funny lines, but
Well,
that's
he's
not
he's working on his aesthetic. He's got this purple king's robe going on.
honestly, when it comes to Robotnik outfits, I mean, it's basically just a regular outfit with a cape. It's not much of an outfit.
It's we have high standards for Eggman fashion, so.
Yes.
But Sonic and Tails and Porker Lewis are here to help. We sneak in with the Bob Beaky disguise.
for about 3 minutes.
Doesn't last long.
One panel even. I like Tails' weird beanie that we see for one panel as well.
His face in that panel is also just incredible.
No
Good
thoughts,
face.
head empty.
Pretty much.
So Sonic is fighting. Lewis is trying to stop more people from entering the quote-unquote convention center. Even as badniks are flying out the top of it, at a certain point you should just turn around and run, guys.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious, but it seems like
Yeah.
the people here are like plot-induced stupidity is what's happening here because some people are like, "Wow, what a great show!" Like they're not going to see the truth, apparently.
Clearly.
Apparently. Maybe they're being gaslit by the extremely weird scaling that goes on over the next 3 pages. Because,
Yeah, I mean, that would mess with anyone's head.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's like, what, 9 badniks at a time coming out of the convention center's top, but then you
Yeah.
can see at the front of it, it's wide enough for maybe 6 or 7 people to go in. And so Sonic is gonna destroy the convention center, it's a factory, with
Right.
this statue of Robotnik. But the statue of Robotnik looks like maybe 7 or 8 times his height. So the factory has to be a maximum of like less than a couple hundred square feet, which means that it has to be completely tiny to get destroyed by this statue.
Maybe it's an elevator.
Or else the statue
just-
like increased in size when Sonic knocks it over.
Well, no, that's just stupid. Excuse me, not stupid. That's just bad art. But maybe what we think is the factory is just like a set of stairs or something leading down.
Maybe you
below
go down,
ground.
I guess, but they come out the top.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We do
don't know.
see in the first page there are other buildings around it, so it almost seems like you didn't destroy the whole thing.
I
We
destroyed
even
the.
see here. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see in multiple places there are more buildings in the background.
Destroy the gateway, I guess. But it's just then you didn't do much, Sonic. But yeah, and all of this is going on while the whole gag with this story was Robotnik and Grimer spending an inordinate amount of time getting dressed up for this convention that is now already destroyed.
Did Grimer actually change it all?
No, he always dresses like that. He was helping
Thought so,
Robotnik
yeah.
with
Yeah.
his aesthetic. How long does it take to put on a cape? What do you need the mirror for? You're not wearing makeup.
Maybe
Or
he's doing
maybe
his
you are.
mustache or something.
Yeah, maybe he's doing his makeup right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's practicing his being so ugly that I break mirrors power. Anyway, weird story, basically just filler. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a silly little story. Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Instead, let's move here to Captain Plunder and his Sky Pirates. He's back, baby.
Oh boy, Captain Plunder story.
I did not expect this at all. Just taking this character and making a whole story focused on him.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
why not? It sounds interesting.
Captain Plunder and his Sky Pirates, written and drawn by Nigel Kitching. Captain Plunder and his crew of Sky Pirates face Robotnik's forces and the forces of the law alike, and fight to escape both with a load of treasure and a new companion. So, we went from Robotnik's convention center to Robotnik's birthday party.
Yeah, and this he is celebrating with the Mobius elite here. This is right out of Underground.
Yeah. He's hosting
Yeah.
it on his airship, which could be Wing Fortress or Flying Battery, but isn't.
Just
Well-
generic airship.
We've seen Wing Fortress.
It's his luxury airship, the Robotnicus.
I really like the red evening lighting here. How it like tinges the characters and objects nearby the windows. It looks nice.
Yeah. It also does a good job making his entourage of wealthy elites, but they look like fantasy film monsters. Like, there's a couple dudes in here that just look like orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ongoing thing of people aren't sure exactly what the creatures in Sonic's world are supposed to be like.
Also like Sonic Underground.
Yep.
But this is a real party rather than the fake one from last time, and party's getting crashed by Captain Plunder and the boys.
His boys look so silly here. I like the way it's drawn though, but they're just ridiculous looking.
It's interesting because Kitching has a very distinct style, a sort of flat look to his work, but whenever he draws like Sonic characters, it looks relatively on model. So it is a very developed look that I do enjoy, even though I wouldn't say it looks the Sonicest. You know what I
The
mean?
Sonic. Well, that'll be a running theme in this story.
Yeah, but yeah, Captain Plunder and the boys, they ransack the ship, they tie up Robotnik. Sonic's whole war could end in a second just by coincidence here.
And it probably won't last long. There is a great line here though from Plunder, which kind of seals that. Okay, he seems to just be back to normal. When Filch is like, Captain, now I'm a ghost. I love this pirate life more than ever. His response: If I'd known that, I'd have shot you years ago.
Awesome, hardcore. Yeah, they're not hippies anymore. I guess out of they had to refill their anger batteries after the Emeralds took it all.
Sure.
But they're not killing Eggman. They're just gonna pilfer well, I guess stuff he already stole from his victims.
Yeah, it's
Also,
justified because they're still stealing stuff that was already stolen.
Yeah, but they're not giving it back, as far as I can tell.
Well, of
no,
course not. No, what do you
they're not
expect?
Robin Hood.
No, I was like, well, I read this. I'm like, damn, are they gonna go full Robin Hood? No, of course not.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did wonder if they had actually turned good, but no, not really.
Also, Robotnik's investor elite friends, they get tied up in one panel and just disappear from the story after that.
Not
Well, because
very
they're not
relevant
important.
then.
I know
Yeah.
they're not important. It's just like not even in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're making Robotnik do our bidding, and he's like, well, "I'll show you to my vault, but it needs 2 keys to open."
Oh, good thing there's a ghost here.
Yeah, he's
Excuse
like,
me, a poltergeist.
poltergeist.
A poultry, a polit. Yes, a poltergeist.
Yes, Filch is sent into the vault, and he opens it from the inside out. So I assume it was meant to be like, "Oh, you can't get the key, but we can." We get a good Robotnik face when he sees this as well.
Because he's acting so confident. He's like, oh, you can't possibly break into there. What the heck?
Yep.
Honestly, it is so random to have a ghost character. It's not something that you usually see in Sonic. It's just like, oh, it's just a regular, it's just a ghost person.
But it makes for
well, I mean,
such a fun character.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of ghosts, just not as a recurring like ally to any particular.
Yeah, we've
Right,
had
that's
like
what I mean.
one-time ghosts.
Yeah, a ghost party member, so to speak.
Sure.
So yeah, they make off with a bunch of robo treasure, but Eggman has reinforcements coming.
Treasure.
Plunder's like, "Oh, I'll deal with them. Just get all the stuff back on the ship."
See how that goes.
Well, we do get back to the ship, and we learn that Sonic was the one who tipped them off to all this, so it was not a coincidence, which
Of course not.
is risky, but a pretty smart move on Sonic's part.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea.
No, I mean, Plunder was effective the first time. He just didn't. Then
Yeah.
he betrayed you. So I guess get him to do another job where if he betrays you, it's not really a big deal because he's still
Sure,
fighting
yeah.
Robotnik.
Yeah, I mean the only bad outcome is he joins Robotnik, but he clearly hates Robotnik with or without
No,
Sonic. So,
no,
Right.
that's a consistent thing from the beginning. Is he hates Robotnik?
yeah, and frankly, most people should.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, so Captain Plunder said, "Go on without me, I'll catch up." And they straight up did go on without him. They completely leave without him. And it's funny cuz they're like, "Wait, where's Captain Plunder? I thought he was with you." "No, we left without him for realsies."
This band of pirates is a little bit incompetent a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
Kind of.
And yeah, he got caught. So
Damn.
it's like he tries to fight his way through, and he does blow off a few trooper heads, but then we zoom out to an exhibition in a courtroom where he's being prosecuted.
Yeah, Robotnik's methods are so unpredictable in this. Like, okay, he's just putting him on trial now? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
And only a few of these guys are robots, which makes me wonder, like, is this relatively similar to what the court system was like before Robotnik took over?
So, yeah, later we're gonna see there's a jail that's given a name that doesn't seem related to Robotnik at all. Here there's like a Robotnik TV and there's troopers and stuff, but it really seems like Robotnik just didn't care, I guess, about dealing with Plunder, and they're just doing it for him. It's kind of how it comes off to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it is a big sham, right? His defense lawyer is a complete joke.
Yeah.
The judge is asleep at the wheel, and the bailiff is a badnik. And it's weirder after that because we zoom out again to reveal this is a propagandistic television show, and the law itself is a sham.
Oh, so maybe this is a scheme, because if you just had all robots everywhere, that wouldn't look as good than if you have actual citizens of Mobius. So yeah, I guess it's just a propaganda stunt.
Yeah, televised court. I guess that can help keep people in line.
Sure.
Judge is a fucking Dark Crystal Skeksis.
That is exactly what I thought, yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have stolen your thunder.
I like him, he looks disgusting.
He is gross, yeah.
Oh yeah, disgusting.
And he sentences Plunder to death by hanging. So, well, we
I
say
guess
that.
the citizens can get behind that more than turning into a badnik.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Listen, this show, the people want blood, so.
Yep.
But we get some commentary on the correctional facility that he's held in. Is it really a correctional facility if you're on death row?
Yeah, well, I mean, they make a point about that. Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
inmates here reoffend because they're all hung.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but he is shackled up on the wall next to this
Next to
cat
Felix the
guy.
cat?
Does look like Felix.
He does. He has this old school Disney or like Fleischer Brothers cartoon aesthetic, and
Yeah.
we will see that that is entirely intentional, to the point that he doesn't even have color. He's completely black and white.
Yeah, this guy's an odd duck.
Also, this guard
That's one way to put it, yeah.
is the guard a frog?
I guess.
He's something weird.
Yeah.
He splashes Captain Plunder with something that is not water.
Mm.
But Cat Friend here is like, hey, I know how to escape the jail. And Plunder's like, oh, don't worry, I'm way ahead of you, because my hook hand is mechanical and has cyber chain cutting arm.
It's not super prominent, but Plunder has a bit of a partial cyborg thing because, like, it looks like he has an eye patch, but
Yeah,
it
his
doesn't
eye
look like a regular
appears-
eye patch. It looks maybe
Yeah.
like it's metal or something, and he does have like a roller peg
Instead
leg.
of,
So.
yeah, we established that the first time we saw him. So I guess it kind of, it's just, it looks silly to have the hook hand and then a smaller wire cutter comes out of that.
It is, yeah.
And it's a little weird because running alongside Cat Guy and Plunder's breakout, his name is Simpson, by the way. He introduces himself later, but
Yes.
Yeah.
running alongside their breakout is the other pirates from the crew trying to break him out. And well, we're gonna see what happens with that. I want to note one guy in the crew just forgets who the captain is, which is weird, but we're gonna learn how he builds his crew, and it's going to be very funny in retrospect.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, there's a very easy explanation for that.
But yes, so Simpson properly introduces himself by doffing the top of his head like a cap, and
Yeah, I kind of was like, oh, that's weird, but I didn't think about it until what happens next.
yes, that old-timey cartoon look is not just for appearances, it governs his magic powers,
Existence?
question mark?
Yeah.
He just follows cartoon logic because reasons.
And when I say question mark, I don't just mean that I'm questioning it. I mean, he grabs a question mark right out of a panel and uses it to unlock the cage.
I love the way Plunder reacts to this. Not overly so. He's just like,
It's like,
something
there's
not quite
something-
right about you, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting decision for a character, and I'm gonna say, more than anything, I want to see a matchup between this guy and Larry Lynx.
Oh my gosh.
God.
I want to see Toon Force versus nonsense luck powers.
That would be
God.
wacky.
But
I do like, after they get out, that Plunder is like, this isn't really my style. Alright, when we get out of here, you say that we fought through a bunch of guards, okay?
yeah, he's like, this is weird. Sonic is an action comic. I gotta be,
Gotta have a little
tonally
action.
consistent. I gotta battle some people,
Yep.
which is funny because then a battle happens right at him.
Bro.
He's got a board with a nail in it.
Oh no.
Or at least it would be. It's not much of a fight. He struggles for a second, but Simpson does the friggin' Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote thing and paints a hole under his feet.
I gotta know, where does that hole go?
Special Zone.
Oh, God.
Maybe.
Sonic Generations trophy room. Also, he shows him to the way out, and it's funny because the escape tunnel was dug but never actually used because the guy who dug it was released.
Yeah, that's a little inconsistent with what they said earlier.
Yeah, this is a
But
prison for
whatever.
death row inmates.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the guy, I don't know, Eggman or Robotnik decided that he didn't belong on death row.
That doesn't sound like him.
No, it doesn't, but
Maybe he decided he'd be better off as a badnik, so he like made a show of his greatness by saying, "Oh, look, I pardoned this guy. Don't ask what I'm doing with him later."
Sure, why not?
I don't know though, because it is like a seedy prison where he was implied to be splashed with piss earlier, which it seems a little less like Robotnik's deal. But either way, the escape ends on this really weird and kind of silly anticlimax.
Oh yeah.
We sneak through the sewers and we're like, oh, how are we gonna get a light? And Simpson's like, I have an idea. Light bulb appears, and then he grabs the light bulb to use as a light.
I'd like to point out that I really like how it's all colored gray and then the light is yellow. It looks nice.
Yeah. These comics know how to make. It's like aesthetic decisions. Like Archie went so often for the polished, not even polished per se, but the representational look, whereas these comics are just very, very surreal almost all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we use the idea light bulb for light until we see someone coming the other way, which the previous page informs us is the other pirates sneaking in.
Oh boy.
And it's like put that light out, and then he eats it, and then the light comes out through his eyes. So Plunder punches him until it turns off.
And most of a page is spent on him just freaking out.
Yeah. Actually, given the sound effects when he punches him, it makes it sound like he broke the light bulb inside of him, so hopefully that doesn't, like, cut up his stomach.
Hey, fucking Simpson seems to be happy about it. He just gives him a nice thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing this guy, that's probably fine.
But then the pirates come the other way, but Plunder and Simpson don't know it's them, and they don't know it's Plunder and Simpson is there, so the two just barely miss recognizing each other in the dark. Which made me expect that there was going to be another part, that there was going to be a switcheroo, like the crew would get trapped in the prison, and they'd have to save him. But no.
That'd make too much sense.
No, these two make it out unscathed. The rest of the crew get captured and put in prison. Filch makes it out, and then they just don't go back for the rest of the crew.
Yeah, specifically, I will say that first, when Plunder hears that the crew has been captured, he's like, "This is outrageous! We must rescue them!" And Filch is like, so you can share all the treasure. And then Plunder's like, I actually never liked that crew.
Yeah, he's like, those guys sucked anyway. So they just leave them there.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. Caught me completely off guard. This guy is just over the top. I love it, honestly.
Yeah, master of the Shaggy Dog story, yeah. And I guess that's why the crew might not be that invested in saving the captains, because he's happy to abandon them. So
it probably goes through crew pretty quickly.
And he does, yeah. The Plunder pirate crew now consists of one captain, a poltergeist, and Felix the cat.
All he needs.
Yeah.
I mean, with how powerful the cat's been shown to be already, probably.
Ghost's pretty good, too.
Yeah, the ghost also.
Importantly, they all have names, which is how you know. But
Right.
True, yeah.
Anyway, no, but I think this was an enjoyable story. It's very silly. It doesn't really feel like Sonic, but it was fun.
It was wild and weird, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I loved it. Definitely a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Well, let's change that pace right back, because, oh look, Cybernik's back. It's Knuckles versus the Cybernik. Lou Stringer and John Moore. Short-fused the Cybernik continues his campaign of ass-whooping against Robotnik's forces, but is accidentally led to Angel Island, where Knuckles the Echidna is less than accepting of new metallic faces. So I guess Badniks are just always following Shorty around.
That makes
he doesn't
sense.
hide, so...
No, he doesn't. He's...
Well, and the suit's
if
probably
anything,
full of tracking devices.
Yeah, he probably hasn't had any way to get rid of the tracking devices yet.
Yeah. So the Valkyrie he's fighting flies toward Angel Island, and Knuckles is there, and he's like, "Oh look, two Badniks." So pops the Valkyrie. Shortfuse tries to explain that he is kind of not a robot, but this is Knuckles, and frankly I can't blame him too much for this. He does the Knuckles thing.
I mean, a Badnik is a Badnik, as much as Knuckles being stupid is annoying. You know.
This is not Knuckles being stupid.
This isn't
honestly.
really. No, this isn't.
This is a bit of irony right here, because he's been tricked a few times recently, and he's like, "No, I'm not being tricked this time. You can't convince me. You're a Badnik. Get out of here."
Yeah, and I mean, fair enough. It's Knuckles is punch first, ask questions later as a character by default, so it's not really a violation. It's not a dumb Knuckles moment.
Yeah, not really.
Knuckles, by the way, looking very Dave Monarch in this story.
Kinda.
A little bit, yeah.
Other than his Nike swoosh is a necklace as usual, but
Right.
Anyway, Knuckles keeps attacking. They have a fairly short fight because Short Fuse doesn't actually want to hurt people. So he just runs away until other badniks, these Kikis, jump out and attack Knuckles. So that's how I prove that I'm actually a good friend.
Yeah, this is the bit that gets me kind of, actually, is that, like, he destroys a few badniks and Knuckles is like, oh, okay, I guess you're okay. Like, that's really all it takes to convince him?
I mean...
He does save him, at least directly.
If we hit... I would be less okay with it if we had, like, seen exactly the scenario play out. Like, if you had a badnik that attacks weaker badniks as a way of luring you into a false sense of security, then yes, I'd be suspicious. But so far in these comics... If you save a hero from a badnik, you're automatically good, so...
I guess so.
Mm.
But Knuckles is still a little suspicious. He's like, well, if Robotnik ever did catch you, he would have a weapon way too powerful for safety.
Foreshadowing, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I assume so.
I don't know how he could survive that from it surviving 2 punches and 1 laser, but okay. Of course, this does beg the question of, can Eggman just make another one of these? And, you know, I guess I'm doing the same thing before it's Monster of the Week, but this comic hasn't been the worst with recurring enemies and ideas.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe you can explain this away. If it has components that can't be easily replicated, you know, it might take a lot to make one of these.
I assume so.
And frankly, maybe that one would turn traitor too. But, Anyway, so another short story, mostly just established that Knuckles and Short Fuse will know each other if they appear together again.
Right.
Nothing too terrible, though.
No, it's fine.
Moving on. Face from the Past, Loose Stringer and Gary Andrews. In the Jungle Zone, Team Sonic saves a jail of captured animals, only to discover that one of them is Sonic's long-lost brother Tonic? A mystery is abound, except not really.
Now, if he'd been named Manic, I might have been convinced.
Oh my god.
Well, maybe. The problem is the story is spoiling us right from the start, because we start with the plan with Robotnik and Grimer, and we can see from the start that this guy's bad, so...
Right.
No, it's not a mystery at all.
Yeah.
No, if they were trying to make it a mystery, they failed.
Yeah, it's Sonic, it's Brown Sonic from the start.
Hmm.
Anyway, we're in Jungle Zone from Sonic 1 8-bit.
That's a generic enough name. I'm not convinced
Oh.
that's intentional, but if it is, I'm impressed.
Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill, but yeah.
God damn it.
We're saving some animals, you know, we're fighting some troopers. Amy's got the bow and arrow again instead of the crossbow. Still don't know what's up with that.
I guess
Also, is this a
you use
new
the
outfit we
pronoun.
haven't seen yet?
Oh, have we not seen the white shirt, green skirt?
I don't think we have.
Yeah, okay. This is one of her more common outfits. She gets more of the punk look. I mean, it's not super punk, I suppose, but she
Punk
moves away from the
adjacent.
game outfit pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
But we save some dudes, one of whom is the guy. And he's like, I'm your long-lost brother, Tonic.
And Sonic
really-
is immediately like, I don't have a brother.
They really
why
decided
did you
Tonic
even
was the
work?
best name for him?
The
Yeah.
name is bad, and it's not a believable thing at all.
Well, if anyone's going to know if he had a brother, it's Sonic.
Yeah.
Well, and
Also,
it's...
there's a really great line at the bottom of this page. Maybe you don't remember me. We were born at a very young age.
Yes. It's
we were
true,
separated
you're right.
as infants. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, like, if someone comes up to you telling you that they're your long-lost sibling, why do they know and not you?
It would make more sense if they went for the angle of Tonic is Sonic's lost older brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, you know, you could explain it away, but they don't. They don't even try, so...
No, they don't. They almost immediately the Tonic plan falls apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sonic is not at any point under the illusion that Tonic is related to him. He's like, this guy's some fraud. Don't believe his lies. And this makes Tonic, like, run off crying. And this is a good example of my problem with the writing for the series, because Amy chews Sonic out for that. And I'm used to Sonic being a jerk sometimes. And, you know, this series dials it up a little bit, but we're having Amy give Sonic a hard time about it. And it makes me want to say, like, oh, you know, the series is aware that Sonic can be a jerk sometimes.
Yeah.
The problem is that Sonic is right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't. It's like, again, who's going to know better than anyone else?
And that's the other thing, is that this sets off the chain of events where Tails discovers the truth, because he follows Tonic over there, sees him on the phone, and he's like, oh no, now that you know, I'll have to completely drop all pretense of even being the thing that I say I am, because it's metamorphia.
I actually didn't expect that.
Neither did I, which I don't know why I didn't.
I mean,
because it's like you don't. It's so obvious you don't really expect it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
you could have just got another guy. I think that the reason they did this is because they needed somebody that would actually be able to fight.
I guess, but like, why not just have them fight in the Tonic form?
Because he looks completely pathetic, is why. But I don't know.
I don't know, he's still a spike ball.
I don't have any real problems with this, honestly. Bringing back Metamorphia is just fine,
No.
especially-
There's no problem with bringing back Metamorphia.
No, I'm a fan of her idea, at least as a villain. So
Sure, yeah.
keep trying. I think the thing that bothers me is that just as soon as Tails realizes he's a phony, there's not even an attempt at recuperating that. It's just like, all right, I'm Metamorphia, time to kill you. You'd think
she hasn't been shown in the past to be able to really play the long game very well, to be fair.
No.
Not really.
No, I would say that this is her core flaw, is that she cannot stick to a bit once things start to go the wrong way for her.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of wish that it was different, because when you have a villain that can disguise themselves, you can go for a lot of different angles. You could do psychological manipulation, IDW
Sure.
Sonic is doing that right now with all of this mimic stuff. But, yeah, no, she's just instantly is like, all right, time to kill you.
I think
Which
part
is
of it
fine,
also-
because I like her weird, off-putting design. It's so almost a normal Sonic character, but then wrong.
Sort of. I mean, the proportions are wrong, as usual.
Yeah, but that's just the kind of a problem with some of the artists in these comics. Which, speaking of the art in this story, it has very good art.
It's good, it's expressive, but it is
Yeah.
like weird. We were talking about it before.
It's definitely weird, yeah.
I said it kind of reminds me of French comic books that I've seen, because they have this sort of
Yeah.
not sketchy. I don't know how to describe it, but
I think maybe more cartoony.
yeah.
Because that's the way I describe this.
Yeah. But she's attacking Tails, and Sonic, just as Sonic's actions are about to have indirect consequences to Tails' skull, Sonic deduces who it is and saves him.
Yeah.
Metamorphia's response is to turn into a blob monster. She looks
God.
like a blob monster for one panel, but then Johnny smacks her in the head, and in this panel she looks like a dinosaur of some sort.
Yeah, I think she was supposed to be more like lizard-esque, but
Yeah, she really becomes a blob after that.
yeah, she becomes like a blob wave. Or sticky goo, excuse me.
Well, all three of these panels she looks different, but yeah.
Yeah. Shapeshifter.
Yep.
Yeah. As it happens, though, she's just outmatched 4-1. She can do barely anything.
There's one thing we've learned so far is that Metamorphia is kind of pathetic.
That,
Which I'm pretty darn sure is intentional.
Yeah.
yeah, her fatal flaw, it's like, unlike her fatal flaw is, oh, she can't stick to a plan, so she can't, always reveals herself or whatever. I think I'm taking the nice way around saying her fatal flaw is that she's just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So she decides I'll retreat, and she jumps down a waterfall to escape.
That's one way to escape, I guess.
If you can survive it.
Yeah.
But we end on something of an interesting character moment.
Oh, this honestly intrigues me.
So Grimer is presenting the events of the day to Robotnik as if this were like some kind of exhibition of her power, which I get that in part because Dr. Grimer is the one who actually created Metamorphia. She was like engineered by him. So I get that.
Yeah, that was a bit of a plot twist. I didn't realize that.
And it's
weird to bring that in now instead of when like Metamorphia was introduced.
Exactly, because we've already done
Yeah.
this. It's like this should have been combined with her introductory story. But the other thing that we get here is that Metamorphia is absolutely obsessed with Robotnik. She idolizes him and is like desperate to impress him.
Which is interesting.
It's
Oh,
it's a
I
little
think
weird,
it's
but-
very interesting. It's quite
Yeah.
quite tragic actually. I'm not sure
That's
if this
true,
is
yeah.
like genuine adoration or
I think it's
metamorphia is
programmed.
artificial. So yeah, I was like, it could be programmed.
I think she's been programmed to worship Robotnik.
I do like that better, but either I can see
Sure, yeah.
because either way, the fact that she genuinely adores him, and then he's just like, ha, that's ridiculous. Of course, that's the only way you could possibly survive is if you like me.
Yeah, he does not give a shit about her, and
Yeah.
it seems to
Yeah.
genuinely hurt her that he says mean things about her.
Also, this gives something a little more to Grimer too, because suddenly he has like this little father figure dynamic going here, because he like consoles her. He's like, well, why don't you just head on home to the Grim Zone, which is that his home?
I guess
That's where we met her the first time, so I guess. But yeah, it's like that's the most interesting thing about, I guess, all of these characters right now. I want to see Yandere Metamorphia, and I want to see like Grimer have doubts because of her.
Yeah. I can only hope that they lean into this further and they don't like kind of forget about this.
I don't think forgetting will happen.
Well, good.
But moving swiftly along, Mystery of the Sandopolis Zone, Kitching and Elson. Tails drops Sonic off for an investigative visit to Angel Island and the Death Egg repairs, but his mission is disrupted by Knuckles the Echidna and the Captain Plunder pirates, or pirate singular.
There's more than one.
There's like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, so Simpson is not in this issue, and I think it's because it was either written or published before he was part of the crew, but there's none of the rest of the crew is here, so I was a little confused by it.
Yeah, I think the other one was written after. That's the way it comes off to me anyway.
Yeah, but before that, we're back in Angel Island. We've been coming here a lot recently, and we can see that the Death Egg is here, still under repair.
Yeah, they just keep getting distracted, basically.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's like when it's right there, it's like, is there a good way of destroying it? It's really big, so I don't know.
I could figure something in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Either way, sandworm attack.
Shai Halub.
Yeah. I had to look it up because this is a badnik in Sandopolis, right? But I had to look it up because apparently it is a distinct one from Caterkiller, even though they look nearly identical.
I thought it was just a Caterkiller.
Yeah. I mean, they act different in-game. This is the one that jumps through, like, the sinking sand sections, but they look almost the same.
I will take your word.
But then I remembered that Sonic Lost World, for whatever reason, reuses this in a different context, so I know those ones are different. No, I was actually thinking of Krultons, even though sandworms do appear in Sonic Lost World, but they're just blue caterpillars.
Fascinating.
Anyway, Knuckles is here, and he's like, hey, Sonic, fuck off. But we're both trying to stop the Death Egg, so we don't really fight.
Yeah, they're confrontational, but not overly so, which is fine.
Again, not punching each other in the head and just being, like, mildly unhappy with each other is a way better dynamic than in Archie.
Sure, it's less annoying.
Too bad for that, though, because then Captain Plunder shows up and is like, guys, I'm derailing the plot because I want treasure.
Yep. We're not going to be doing anything with the Death Egg this time around. We've got Plunder to take the reins, and he's got scared old Professor Man with him. And we're gonna look for some lost treasure. Maybe we'll set off a volcano that can destroy the world and be in the Sonic X joke. This is not funny. Anyway,
there's kind of a weird line from Knuckles here. Because Plunder is like, all right, let's go get the treasure. All right, where's the way to do it? He's like, he's doing his thing. He's not paying any attention. And Knuckles is like, hey, yo, get out of here. I'm the ruler of the floating island, which is kind of weird to call himself the ruler. Yeah, it seems he's usually like a guardian. Yeah.
Well, I guess if he's really the only living creature on Angel Island, he might as well also be the ruler.
I think it's about phrasing, because if Knuckles just said, this is my island and I want you to leave, then I would not even bat an eye.
Yeah, that would be better.
It's just slightly odd wording to me.
Yeah, because what are you ruling over? A bunch of sand? A bunch of trees? Maybe a few monkeys? Cat weasel?
Odd.
I don't think so. I don't think he would rule over Cat Weasel.
No.
They ignore him, of course. The treasure is supposedly here in Sandopolis, and we just have to press a button to uncover a pyramid.
Very specific button, I guess.
Yeah, but shoots up from the ground, and hey, it's the Golem boss from Sonic 3.
Yeah.
This story does a great job at using elements from the actual Sandopolis zone, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Also, I want to note here that Captain Plunder says something like, "Oh, I heard this thing might attack, but I completely ignored it."
Yeah, once again, a little bit, quite a bit incompetent.
He's fun though.
Oh no, I love him for it.
Yeah.
I like this. This is very fun.
So we're fighting the golem. Sonic gets caught by the whole fall apart and rebuild thing that it does, even after Knuckles tells him to dodge, which Sonic ignores because he's Sonic and not nice in this version. And Knuckles lets the golem fall in the quicksand just like in the game, so that's dealt with. It's like it's hard for me to comment on some things because they are very conventional and understand what playing Sonic 3 is like a lot of the time.
Yeah, honestly.
So we're heading inside because we have to follow the other guys because I think they ran in there already. And Knuckles, he doesn't want people taking stuff from his island, and for once, these are actually thieves trying to steal from Knuckles, which is pretty rare, all things considered.
Yeah.
I like this bit of banter. I think it's actually just a bit of inconsistency because they didn't establish that Filch could touch anything until the other comic, which was probably written afterward. But I like to think that when Plunder's like, "Hey, Filch, you slacker, pick up stuff," and he's like, "I'm a ghost, remember?" That he's actually just making excuses.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
because I mean, he's been able to do other stuff, like because he participates in fights. So
yeah, I guess you don't really see what he's doing, but I suppose so.
well, and I'm pretty sure they've called him a poltergeist the whole time, and I'm pretty sure the one trait that poltergeists have is that they can do corporeal stuff. I don't know.
Either way,
I didn't know there was actually a difference.
That's my understanding of it. Now, granted, that is in part a Harry Potter understanding, which is not necessarily accurate. I've never seen the movie Poltergeist. Maybe that would explain it better. Anyway, this is off topic. Yeah, we're trying to get treasure, but we're interrupted by the lights going out. So, we had a ghost before, but now we have the Sandopolis ghosts. But these ones are none too friendly with his kind.
Yeah, this is obviously just a coincidence, but the writers are aware of how this is funny, so Plunder's like, talk to them, and Filch is like, I don't think they're my kind of ghost, really. So I guess they really are. They're ghosts, and he's a poltergeist, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
How it works.
Yeah, but they end up just dropping all their shit and making a run for it, and Knuckles is like, alright, enough is enough. This could cause serious problems, so I'm just breaking the seal to bury the entire thing in sand.
Fair enough.
And, good riddance. I don't like being in that pyramid in the game, either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, neat little story. Nothing too revolutionary.
No, it's just a fun time.
And, I don't think that this actually breaks continuity, because if you just say that, like, Simpson's back on the ship, he just didn't come with him, that's fine.
Oh, no, because the professor is here, I assume he has a whole crew, but he just didn't decide to send the whole crew down.
Well, the professor's not a member of the crew, right?
Is he not? I thought they literally said at one point he was a new member of the crew. Maybe not. There's a particular line about it.
New member of the crew used to work at Metropolis University.
So he is.
Well, he could have gotten him after. I don't know. In any case, it's fine. But this story leads kind of directly, not exactly into the next one, but pretty close, because we start on the next story and Sonic is just still here on Angel Island.
Yeah, I mean they're shown to be in Sandopolis still. It looks like.
Yeah, they're.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So this is Countdown to Disaster, Kitching and Elson. Still on Angel Island, Sonic and Knuckles rush to stop Dr. Robotnik from stealing the island's Master Emerald to power the fully repaired Death Egg. And, the Death Egg repairs are complete. We really should not have spent time on that pyramid.
Look, Pirate Man showed up and they all hate him, I guess.
Yeah. But,
it's fine. This was going to happen eventually, no matter what.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this was where the plot's been headed, so... Death Egg is not even launching anyway until he steals the Master Emerald.
What? Huh? Say what? Really?
Okay.
Has that been here the whole time?
No, I think they implied that it was one of the 7 emeralds.
Really?
I think? Maybe not.
I didn't see that at all. To me, it came off of like, oh, no, yeah, I was just there all along. Totally. That's the way I got it.
Well, that's the thing. We never saw it, though. Even when we were in the Emerald Room.
We can talk about it when it shows up. There's a little bit of explanation. But
Yeah,
definitely this is jarring, and it seems like
It
they're
it is a
just
little
trying their
bit of a
darndest to get
retcon.
in line with the game
yeah. At
elements.
least they did it faster than Archie did.
True,
Yeah.
and I don't need a ton of fanfare, honestly.
No,
Yeah, if
the
you have
Master
to
Emerald.
change things that were inconsistent before, just don't draw attention to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Sonic and Knuckles are down in what should be Lava Reef, but is actually just a volcano under launch base. But we get that cool shot of the Death Egg in the roof of the cavern. So,
Yeah.
but a swarm of egg robos come out to attack, and
oh
they
yeah.
they look game accurate, which Archie had a hard time getting. But
I also
Robotnik
like
is.
that we get Robotnik speaking through at least one of them.
I do like that, him watching and listening from inside them and taunting the heroes as they fight is
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. I like that.
It's a nice distinction that kind of makes sense for the egg robos in particular.
Yeah,
Yeah. And, well, Sonic and Knuckles are in a rush. So Sonic is fighting fast, but Knuckles is like, no, we can destroy them by flooding them with lava, which is cool.
Yeah.
that's definitely a way to destroy them.
And he's also step ahead of Sonic, realizing what Eggman is doing, because he's like, I gotta head toward Hidden Palace to get the Emerald. But it's gone. They get there and it's already gone.
Of
Except,
course.
weirdly, the Super Emeralds, or they don't say Super Emeralds,
Okay.
they've got the,
Not
I was
Super
going to ask about that.
so they've got the diamond cut rather than the hexagonal cut, because the
Right.
Chaos Emeralds still had that at the time, whereas the Super Emeralds were big like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, and Sonic like looks at them and is like, the Chaos Emeralds sure have gotten big, but they don't
Mhm.
say Super Emeralds, so I don't know what's up with that.
Well, Knuckles just says that they were depowered from being away from the Master Emerald for a while, so I guess when they degrade, they just get small and their shape changes, and
I guess.
fine, I'll accept that, I guess. But yeah, so I guess I have to assume that maybe Knuckles didn't bring Robotnik here, and he brought them, and he was keeping the split emeralds in a different place as like a precaution. That's the only thing I can think of, and that makes enough sense.
Yeah, because this isn't the same temple from before, but
Right.
Right.
I'm just wondering why we left the other emeralds there. I guess Robotnik sent a robot. We don't get to see exactly what it is yet. And he said, go get the Master Emerald. So I guess if he only said get the Master Emerald, he wouldn't ignore the other emeralds.
Very literal minded. I could see that. And also, I mean, they're all big, so like you gotta lug them all around. That would be kind of annoying.
Yeah, fair
Mm.
enough. So Robotnik is gloating, and he menaces Grimer at the suggestion that the emerald not being here yet means Sonic could stop the one taking it.
Reimer has some great faces. Both of them are great. Both when he's threatening him, also when he's like so pleased.
The look of contentment on this goblin is palpable. But Robotnik is not worried about that, because it's the one badnik he can't beat. It's which Sonic is this? Because
Metallic's the Metal Sonic.
I know they
Yeah.
say it's Metallic's the Metal Sonic.
Well,
that
it's
sure
a
looks
second
like
Metallic.
Sonic 3 Mecha Sonic.
It's a second metallic.
Sort of.
supply.
It doesn't look exactly like that.
Yeah.
It does not. It has Metal Sonic's quills, whereas Mecha Sonics are different. But it has Mecha Sonic's face and build.
Yeah. It's definitely distinct though, and honestly, I like it. It's kind of a cross, and it seems, I don't know, Mecha Sonic was always kind of weird to me because he looks very different than the other Metal Sonics. But this is a little closer. It's like a hybrid kind of between.
Yeah, he's
this
kind of
and
between
Metal
the two,
Sonic.
and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he's got the Master Emerald, and he uses it to power up. Or does he? I guess they just wanted a cliffhanger for one of these parts, because he powers up on the Emerald, and then at the
Then
start of the
leaves.
next one, he's done nothing.
I guess he's preparing for a potential fight when they inevitably follow him.
Yeah, it just seems like it unhappens.
No, it's
really
stupid.
weird.
No, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So in timeline A, he just runs to the teleporter to Sky Sanctuary, and so they chase him through, and now when they get there, now he's powering up. So maybe the previous panel was a flash forward? I don't
Sure.
know. But we're in the Sky Sanctuary, he powers up, he does not turn gold.
He's kind of
Damn.
gold when he powers up, but not afterward. No.
Damn,
Yeah.
no super metal yet.
Yeah, so but he's still very, very, very strong from this. He utterly defeats Sonic and Knuckles, basically.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit of intrigue here, something to remember for later, because I happen to know a little bit how this goes. Because Sonic is like, "What? But Metallics, you were destroyed. Actually, you never existed. But specifics." And he's like, "Ah, yes, I'm here for revenge for my brother because I'm part of an elite brotherhood."
All
Yes,
right.
I wonder what that means. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But Sonic works this to his advantage because he gets popped up in the air by one of Metallix's attacks, and takes this chance to land on the Master Emerald, which
That is very funny, but I kind of like it.
yeah, which taps into the chaos energy.
The weird thing here is that Sonic doesn't. Well, he did turn into Supersonic originally from the emeralds we saw in that one like introduction comic.
Mhm.
But otherwise he hasn't needed the emeralds. So
No,
I
it's
guess if there's an emerald, he can just do it at will because normally he can't. So
True.
I mean, it's clearly that there's multiple activation ignition powers, and
Yeah.
one of them is extreme stress, which I assume is that he has latent chaos energy in him, and the other
Yeah.
one might be that it reacts with the energy of another emerald,
I guess
maybe.
Tracks.
But in any case, yes, it's supersonic time for not very long because he completely eviscerates Metallix in one hit.
typical of Supersonic in Fleetway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this supersonic definitely appears to be maybe the most powerful incarnation.
Possibly.
He's certainly the craziest. I guess
Yeah,
that's
well, yeah.
Supersonic
Yeah.
and everything else is no crazy at all. So, but unfortunately, failed to consider that they left the emerald on a teleporter.
Brilliant.
So now Sonic is trapped in a super form that doesn't care about grabbing it, and Knuckles.
Well,
Well, he wakes up to a fist in his face.
Oh, lovely. I love that. Luckily, it super wears off quickly after that. But Sonic is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Knuckles. I can't control myself. You see it?" And he's like, "Never mind that." He's kind of like grumbling, but he's like, "Whatever. More important things to do."
Yeah, because the emerald did indeed get teleported, which means Robotnik has it now.
uh-oh.
Oh no.
And characteristically, Sky Sanctuary is falling apart. The Death Egg is rising. We're screwed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, here we go.
Yep, this is disaster. Kitching and Nelson. The Death Egg has relaunched. It's up to Sonic and Knuckles to bring it back down to Mobius. I wrote Earth in my notes. Bring it back down to Mobius before it can cause mass death and destruction.
I love
Which we've
that
already seen a
disaster
preview of.
Follows countdown to disaster.
Yeah. So yeah, Eggy's coming, Island's falling, Robotnik is dancing around with joy at the idea of completely obliterating Sonic's hometown. But he's like, oh, they're still alive. Well, let's not put our chickens before they've cart the horse. I'm really not doing good with these aphorisms today.
You should probably stop.
Yeah, he sends another swarm of egg robots at him. How about that?
There you go.
That's what he does.
And it's very funny because Knuckles is trying to glide off of the crumbling Sky Sanctuary, and Sonic is riding on his back while they get attacked.
Looks so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, well, there's a lot of lasers to dodge, so Sonic does a friggin' homing attack chain between each of them.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And manages to break into the conveniently placed glass window on the Death Egg. But that's fine. And, Death Egg looks like Death Egg. You have that big thing from Death Egg Zone when you go in the gravity chamber or whatever that is.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Which also
I like-
it really looks like Star Wars. It looks like friggin' Empire Strikes Back, the ending.
I mean, it's the Death Egg, of course.
Which Death Egg already looks like Star Wars, yeah.
Yes.
It's literally a reference, so I expect as much. I do like that now that Sonic is separated from Knuckles, he's like, I'd never admit it to his face, but I'm a little worried that I might actually need Knuckles to help me in here. So yeah, he's definitely insecure.
Yeah. There's some Spike Bonker badniks, which Sonic fights his way through and then makes fun of them for having a stupid name.
I love him, but he's right.
Yeah, it's not my favorite name. But Nux rummages through some disused chambers to discover that Angel Island can be controlled.
All right.
This is so funny because we've seen many examples, of them trying to be accurate to the games and sometimes in
And then they just
ungraceful
pull
ways.
this out.
But then they just pull this out, yeah.
Yes, Angel Island, you can fly a continent like a floating fortress, which is also funny because Eggman made it into one in the Sonic and Knuckles Archie special.
Hell yeah.
It's very funny, the kind of parallels between these two comics that, as far as I can tell, we're not really cheating off each other's work that often.
No.
Most of this, I think, can be chalked up to coincidence.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
But Sonic makes it to Eggman's chamber, but Grimer occupies him with more badniks while they're trying to launch the giant disintegrator ray.
I would like to set this record straight that he's actually captured by the Spike Bonkers.
Is he?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Sonic insists, I just lost my way, so they just helped me find my way here, that's all. But that is what happened.
I didn't notice because I saw him fighting them, and I didn't see him lose to them, so he's just in here.
I mean,
now.
they completely skip over that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But either way, those badniks don't count for much anyway, because Sonic does destroy them, and the entire place starts shaking because they're under attack from Angel Island, which has energy balls it can launch.
Wow,
I mean,
I really want to see this Echidna civilization now, if they could create something like this.
Yeah.
How do you make terrain that fires away? Are they Forerunner? Is this Halo shit? I don't know. But yeah, it's super strong, and Robotnik's like, well, shit, make it quick. We got to fire the disintegrator ray, and he does and wreaks havoc for all of 7 long harrowing seconds.
Well, it's because Sonic's right there, and he's not going to let that keep going.
It's just, it's like we only got a taste of destructive power before. I want to see it in full force, but also I know that if they did that, everybody would die, so I don't know.
Yeah, they can't unleash that because it's devastating, so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe at the very end of the comic.
Okay.
I don't know, if there's ever a time to kill off as many characters as possible, it's at the very end of your story.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, Sonic does bap the emerald out of the power conduit, and he and Robotnik prepare for another fight, but Knuckles Sonic out of the window with his laser.
Classic Knuckles.
And then we get a pretty cool 2-page spread of Sonic falling with the emerald and the egg robos while the Death Egg gets blasted in the background.
Hell yeah.
I wish we had a better scan of this without the big seam in the middle, but
Yeah.
But an egg robo grabs the emerald, but Sonic manages to grab the gun from another one, and this is where that really funny panel of Sonic pointing at
it's another meme.
I used that as the thumbnail for one of the Shadow the Hedgehog episodes.
I thought I remembered you using that and editing it to look like Shadow.
It was a really crappy looking at it, but yes. So, he shoots the emerald out of the other robot's hands, and gets lucky with it just barely landing on the island. But unfortunately, Sonic himself is still falling to his death.
Damn.
Robotnik is sort of in denial a little bit. He's like, no, my exquisite Death Egg. And Grimer's like, we have to leave. And then Robotnik's like, you know what? Actually, I could turn this around. He doesn't stay down for very long. He's like, I have a contingency plan. He looks so gleeful.
Yeah. Yeah, he swears vengeance, and Sonic tears the rocket pack off an Egg Robo to reach the island. Just as Eggman is reaching for the Master Emerald himself in a not quite Death Egg robot.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I mean,
art is still stellar. Sonic is just at the top of his game consistently against all these machines, and he knocks him off the island. And well, that's Robotnik dealt with for now. But this next part is super weird. I'm not sure what to think about it. Knuckles shouts, "Quick, get the emerald back in the chamber before the island falls into the ocean." And Sonic instead says no. He kind of pulls something with Knuckles here. He withholds the emerald in exchange for a favor from Knuckles, and a big one. I'm honestly surprised Knuckles just doesn't punch him out right here and now, because Sonic's plan involves keeping the island in the ocean for a while.
Yeah, it's quite a big ask. They kind of skip over it, but I have to assume that maybe some punches were thrown before he agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we do time skip to 3 days later after Sonic says it, but Yes, Sonic basically coerces Knuckles into allowing refugees from Robotnik's terror to live on Angel Island. They come across in boats while it's still in the ocean.
Hmm.
And,
So, I mean, what?
That's interesting.
well, it's a weird decision to see from Sonic, but it is funny because Knuckles has kind of an isolationist attitude in these comics up to this
Right.
point. And our whole problem with Angel Island and Archie was that same ideology. And here, this brings it up and slaps it down in a couple pages. Because wouldn't that be like the perfect fucking Archie story? Is like we're trying to get some people, who have no space, and Angel Island has plenty, but like the Brotherhood tries to stop them from being allowed in, and Knuckles has to be the one to stand up for them, right?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
No, it's an interesting way to end this with a little bit of a twist on the status quo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a weird move from Sonic, though. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him withholding it like that.
No, that's really weird.
But yeah, these guys are going to be living here for a while, and Robotnik is injured, and he's like, "Now it's time to get serious." I don't believe you. You just were serious. This was a pretty intense story.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
it was.
actually like, I tried to be a just ruler. No more Mr. Nice Nick. Apparently, that was
This is
him
him being
trying to be
nice.
fair.
Yeah, damn, alright.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. It was fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
But with every up, there must also be a sideways, I guess, because we're not quite done for today. We've got a little bit left, namely in the form of a couple Tales stories. Aren't you guys excited?
No.
Well, you should be at least a little bit, because we're at least a change of pace from the Nameless Zone. This is Zonerunner and the Flock, written by Mark Isles and drawn by Roberto Corona. On a routine attack of Robotnik's chemical plant, Sonic and Tails are separated. Instead, Tails joins up with a different gang of revolutionaries against Robotnik. So yeah, we're blowing up something in Chemical Plant Zone.
Yeah, what exactly? They're trying to blow something up. Do they ever state what?
I mean,
Or is it just-
Robotnik
it was
has
just
factories and chemical refineries.
Yeah.
It's not. None of it is good. But they get attacked by the most indistinct Eggman minions ever. These guys appear a couple times throughout the story, and I can barely recognize them. There's like a woman in camo pants whose species I'm not quite sure of, and like a sheep dude with an eye patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is weird because Tails is like, wow, who are they? Like, they didn't expect these people in particular, because, I mean, yeah, they don't necessarily seem like Robotnik minions, they are, but yeah, it's like there's some mystery here or something, but they don't end up doing a whole lot with it.
No, they're only in a couple panels across this entire story. It's not really about them. So we escape. We hop in a Zoom tube, and something switches. We have like a Portal 2 moment where you get sent across different tubes at the wrong moment. So they get split up. It switches direction. And Tails gets sent into a room with Robotnik on a call with Nutzan Bolt. That's this big robot skull man with a necklace of smaller robot heads that talk back.
This design is so weird.
Very interesting.
Could you tell this isn't a Sega Sonic design?
Oh no. No.
But he's a Robotnik minion, and he's scary? Question mark. He gets real angry when Tails asks where Sonic is.
Yeah, that's his trigger word.
Yeah, he used the S word, and then his nostrils shoot fire. Okay. So Nutzan Bolt. I'm not gonna get over that name. He advances on Tails, but gets flashbanged by someone hidden under a manhole who pulls Tails down. And it's Sheep Woman?
Bab.
Okay.
Sab.
I thought she was a cow.
I think she's a sheep.
I think you're right that she's a sheep.
Because it's called
I see.
Zonerunner and the Flock, and all of her buddies look like sheep, and they're called the Flock.
Yeah.
So.
Fair, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, I'm a zone runner, and so are you." And it's like, "What's a zone runner?" And it's like, "Oh, it's someone who travels Mobius and fights Robotnik." So that's most of the principal cast then.
Yeah, I was thinking it's like, so that makes the Freedom Fighters zone runners.
Yeah.
I don't know what the writers are trying to do here.
I mean, yeah, why not just make different Freedom Fighter groups like Archie did?
Yeah, I guess, in a less incorporated setting, then maybe they would come up with different names for things. It's just that Zone Runner is a
Yes.
really generic one.
Well, this
Yeah.
feels like kind of stalker adjacent, like aesthetically.
I don't know. Are they trying to do like a Blade Runner thing? Is that why it's called that? We've got that kind
Maybe?
of dark atmosphere in trench coats.
Yeah,
Also, she gives Tails some stuff like in order to be a real Zone Runner, you need the trench coat and the PDA.
of course. I mean,
Apparently.
yeah, you
Um,
have to look like Rick Deckard.
yeah, but she's taken him to her underground base with all these other dudes. It's the flock, I guess. It's just other people, other
It
sheep.
sounds like a cult, let's be honest.
Yeah, I feel like I have heard of a cult called the Flock in something, although I don't remember what.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, that's what I was thinking also.
In any case, we're looking at some security cam footage, which shows that Eggman has a dam holding back all of the Mega Muck from the plant, which he intends to use to, like he. It's really weird, right? They say that Eggman intends to destroy the dam to ruin the surrounding areas with muck, but their plan is also to destroy the dam?
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess like build up a big supply and then just throw
Yeah,
it
maybe
out
he
all
doesn't
at
have
once.
enough yet. We're trying
I-
to preempt him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes?
Yeah, but we're setting out with all of us to do something about it, and taking Tails with us, obviously. And
So, yeah, this is unfortunate because at first I was like, oh, maybe this will be something different. No, no, no. This is the exact same thing. Tails gets
Uh-huh.
swept up in the
Pretty much,
action,
Yep.
and he's like, and, I'm not that brave. Maybe I could just leave. And he's like, nah, nonsense. You must come with us. Of course, you're a great zone runner. Oh, gosh, this stuff again.
it's
Well, and
weird,
then-
right? Because in the Nameless Zone comics, Tails lied about himself, and they
Right.
believed him. Here, it's like they just pick Tails out of one place and just decide you must be a hero.
Well, the idea is supposedly that they thought he was fighting Nuts and Bolt, but no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess,
that's
but it's like,
stupid.
how did these guys? How have they not heard of Sonic? You know?
I mean, it's a big world. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess. Anywho, we show off the PDA, the cool hacking tool, which he nearly strangles Tails with because it's chained around his neck.
Yeah.
But a Spiny throws a grenade at them, so we gotta run out of there, grab a flying saucer thing. Eggman just has these. Maybe this is one of those moving platforms from Chemical Plant. And it's weird because like we're flying in this thing to reach the dam, and there's this weird bit where Tails falls down, and they're like, "Oh, well, he's dead."
Yeah.
But then he flies back up, obviously because he's Tails, and then suddenly the platform just flips over. Why?
I have no idea.
It must have been like overweight or something.
Maybe they were looking over the side for him, and that put it off balance.
I guess.
It's really weird. And Tails continues his accidental hero shtick by hitting a button that
God.
resets the orientation.
Yeah, once
can't
again, he
believe
gets to save things. Woo!
So stupid.
Couldn't we just
Yeah.
have Tails see the button and press it?
Yeah, is it really that hard? Why does he have to do it accidentally?
Yeah. It's like, you can do a reluctant hero. I'm not sure how much I like... Like, accidental hero trope is fine if you do it, like, once. You know?
If you keep
Yeah,
doing it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
gets ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is they're just
At this
reusing
point,
the
Tails
same-
is Larry Lynx. He's the one with the luck manipulation.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, so, we get to the dam, and Nuts and Bolt is guarding it, and he has those two mercs from before in his lackeys, and, we're gonna get into a big fight with them.
There's actually a pretty rad line from Sab here, I have to say, when they're like, "To the breach, my friends, and close up the barrier with dead robots."
Yeah. I looked it up, by the way. Apparently, the sheep guy's name is Sulfuric, and the dog lady is named Tess Tube.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
It says
yeah.
that at the very end of the comic, which is weird that they have names because it makes it seem like they're important somehow. And they're like here, and Soul is like a sheep just like them, but he has like an eye patch. It's like, oh, he's an evil sheep. So it's like it seems like there's some story here, but they just completely didn't go into it at all.
So I've read a little bit
Pretty much,
further
yeah.
ahead in this comic, and Sulfuric will be making a reappearance with
Of
a little bit more
course.
elaboration. To my
Okay.
knowledge, Test Tube gets nothing. She's just a dog lady
Fascinating.
for this
All
comic.
right.
Which
All
is
right.
funny because she's the one who Bolt actually says the name of.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So, yeah. Anyway, they're fighting. Bolt goes after Tails and gets pissed off again when he says Sonic's name. And apparently he can fly too. He's just got rotocopters on his back. So he chases and shoots at Tails and corners him in a garage full. And he has saw blades on his hands. But Tails, I'm not sure if this is how much, Tails' techiness is shining through in this comic, but he uses the hacking device to close the shutter.
It's definitely not supposed to be a show of his techiness.
No, it's not.
Yes, because what actually... It's like, this is another, like... You could just have it be attributed to Tails legitimately, but they definitely portray it like it's another accident in that Tails tells the thing to close the shutter 3 times out of panic, which leads to a comedic frigging evisceration where the door closes, opens again for Bolt to get in, closes on Bolt, opens again, and then finally slams down on him so hard that he's crushed into bits.
Yeah.
Except for his head, which sprouts wheels and drives off in disgrace. And, apparently, this is another thing where it feels like an accidental hero thing on multiple levels, because they clarify that Bolt's bombs destroyed the equipment that was supposed to let the gunk flow out of the dam. So it wasn't even really a thing that the heroes did.
Yep.
Also, Sab says, like, the zones are safe, but I mean, it's still there. You still need to, like, drain it, because they're just going to rebuild this. Are we occupying this area? I don't know.
You beat the bad guys, so everything is great.
I
Yeah,
suppose.
pretty much.
It feels like a very temporary victory, but whatever. So,
I mean, honestly, in this world, it makes sense that the victories wouldn't necessarily last long. They're just trying to keep the morale up.
fair enough. So, as usual, Tails is thanked for his coincidental justice, and his attempts to explain it are just interpreted as being modest. At this point, I would say that I have a harder time blaming Tails himself for it.
No, the world's
Yes,
against him.
yeah.
Yeah. And also, as usual, Tails is delivered back to Sonic, and the two sides of his world conveniently never interact with each other, even though they just send him down the slope of the silo smokestack thing. And Sonic is right at the bottom, so he should be able to see them, or Tails should maybe mention what he just went through, but he doesn't.
He never does.
Sonic wouldn't believe him because he's just.
I mean, yeah, he's an asshole.
Sonic is indeed an asshole, and no more apparent is that than in our final story for today, Hero of Mobius, Nigel Kitching and Carl Flint. Tails reminisces about his adventures in the Nameless Zone, while Sonic brags about himself.
Oh boy, it's a clip show story.
It kinda is, yeah.
Oh
Sonic,
boy.
Really?
We start with, I guess this is inside the caravan? It's not exactly clear. But we
Yeah, I
start
think so.
with Sonic talking about how cool he is to all of his friends, recounting a story of his heroism. It could be on anything, honestly. And then he, like, laughs at Tails for not having been there when it happened, even though it was when Tails was on one of his secret adventures.
Well, yeah, this is ridiculously rude because Sonic is like, oh yeah, this was a great adventure, and Tails, what did you do during that time? He's like, I wasn't there. You remember? It's like, I forgot you weren't even there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, what is your problem? It's enough to get Tails upset, and he leaves.
Fair enough.
And again,
yeah.
we're having another moment where someone kind of calls Sonic out for being a little mean, and Sonic does not take them seriously at all. And I read this and I was like, oh, I'm seeing Tails leaving. And it's like, okay, we're gonna have Tails reminisce about this stuff, and then by the end, Sonic will apologize.
No.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Tails angsts about having lied to the people in the Nameless Zone, and we recap the fight with Trog for some reason.
Just a recap in case you didn't read those horrible stories, but I don't blame you.
Yeah, and then Johnny shows up to ask him on a mission to fight Badniks at Hilltop, I'd assume that's like Johnny being like, "Oh, I felt bad for Tails. I want to make sure he's okay." But they don't say that, and then a Nameless Zone portal shows up to take Tails instead.
Ugh.
To a story that we do not see. There's no explanation for what this one is.
It's just to show that he's just being pulled away all the time.
God.
Apparently, and yeah, like John. The next morning, everybody's gathered to go, and he's just not there. And Johnny's like, "Huh, I don't know what happened to him." And it's very weird that like the narration even asks like, "Oh, where is Tails gone? Keep watching for his new adventures," which makes it really funny that the next story is not a Nameless Zone story.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, obviously that's a spoiler for us using the compilations, but I can only look at the next page and see Sab on it and see that it's a different story. So
Yeah.
and it's not a case of stories printed in the wrong order. There's really just no fault.
I mean, we don't need another Endless Zone store or Endless Zone. God, that's what it feels
Endless.
like.
the endless Nameless Zone comics.
Yeah, we don't need more Nameless Zone.
Yeah. So this was like, I don't know what the point of this story was. It feels like the point was just to have shitty things happen to Tails. I don't know.
It kind of, to me, it feels like they just needed a story for an issue, so they just slapped one together.
Yeah, it's like we need to fill page space.
This is half a recap, and
Yeah.
half. I feel like they're hinting that, like, whoa, something more is going to come out of this, because like Tails is unhappy with the situation, and we're getting now that the other people are starting to take note of something is up with Tails,
Sure.
or at least Johnny is. So I hope that maybe this is going to go somewhere.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. I guess it's also an exhibition of Sonic crossing the frigging lines again. It's just...
Yeah, we're definitely getting more of Dickhead Sonic.
It doesn't leave me with a good taste in my mouth.
Not
No.
really.
Which is a shame, because most of the rest of the comics today were pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty solid.
Yeah.
So, it's... Every part of the Sonic series is a mixed bag, and this is another one.
Definitely.
So...
Yeah.
But that is where we are done for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, please feel free to contact us through the links in the link tree in the description. With all that said, we will see you next week for more comics. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and take care.